Hey guys, things are a little bit backwards today, starting with the workouts and then ending with now. And I decided I really wasn't sure which thing I wanted to do for this week, but I decided to go ahead and do the stuff where I was telling you about my mom, because I told you guys that I would tell you about what was going on with her and why I was asking for prayer and all that kind of stuff. So while I sit here cooling down from mowing the lawn, I will just talk to you guys. I don't have anything written, so I don't know how well this is gonna come out. Luckily for you guys, it's not live, so I can edit out my blank spaces. Also, I'm not going to go into like super detailed, detail every single day of this space and time that I'm going to be telling you about, because there's so much and that would seriously take forever. So I just want to at least give you guys the bulk of what was going on. Okay, for anybody who does not know, for anybody who maybe is kind of newer to the channel or has not checked out any of my older videos with my mom in October of 2020 had a stroke, and then the next day she had multiple strokes in the in her brainstem. That turned her into, she was just a vegetable. The only way she was living was from the machines that were keeping her alive. She went from nothing, she couldn't talk, she could move her eyes. That was the extent of what she could do. And even then it was very slow. She couldn't breathe on her own, she couldn't eat, she couldn't move, even her right side. I mean, everything, she was just nothing. Her eyes moved, period, that's it. So that story is actually really awesome, kind of like a miracle story, because so many doctors were like, she's not gonna live, These types of strokes, these specific types of strokes that she was having, there's like the tiniest percentage of people who actually live after having these strokes, and she's not going to be able to move, she's not going to be able to talk, all these things that she's not going to be able to do ever. So really we just need to think about quality of life, and if you want to check her off these machines, whatever. Through blinking, she let us know that she wanted to fight. She wanted to keep fighting to try to live. And there's also a story with that, which if you go back and watch, I'm going to link I have, I think, maybe three videos with my mom, and I will link those in the description so you guys can check those out so you have a little bit better idea of what's going on. But she got to a point of being able to move, for the most part, move her right side. She can talk, she just sounds different. There is obviously brain damage that affects her emotions and the way she thinks. Anyways, that's pretty much where we are. So come October, is going to be 3 years of doing that. She's done physical therapy, she's done speech therapy. All the therapists have said, okay, you've reached your max. This is as good as it's going to get. So therapy's stopped. So my mom was to a point where she's like, okay, I have to accept the fact that this is my life. I can be in a bed, I can be in a wheelchair, that's it. I can't walk, I can't do things on my own, I'm never going to talk like I used to. Basically, she was just saying, I need to accept that this is my life. Like, I'm going to be in a bed, I'm going to be in a nursing home, depending on other people, wearing briefs, having to wait for a long time, because in those types of facilities, usually there are a lot of residents and not a ton of CNAs and nurses and people working there to get to them. So, there's a lot of waiting. And so she was to that point of accepting that. Then in May, catching you guys up now to where I was asking for prayer, I got a text from her saying that I decided to stop eating, drinking, stop taking all my meds. This is day 5 of none of that stuff. So I'll probably be gone in the next few days. Is there anything you want to know? Do you have any questions or anything that you want to ask before I'm gone? So she did a bunch of research on VSED, which is voluntarily stopping eating and drinking. This, for the most part, is for people who are already going to die. Like, they already have their stuff. It's like, yeah, you only have about this much, you have 6 months to live, and they're like, I don't want to suffer for 6 months, so I'm just going to stop eating and drinking, so that way I'll be gone in, a couple weeks or something. That usually is how it goes, at least as far as the research that I've done. That was not the case with my mom. I mean, there was no, you're going to be dying, sometime in the near future. She just was sick of the life that she had. She was just done. She was just letting go. She didn't want to have that life anymore where she's just laying in a bed. She went from being with most of her grandkids almost every single day to nothing, pretty much practically nothing. So she didn't want that anymore. So that point, that was just, a few days later I did a video, and that was the video where I was telling you guys this video is gonna suck. Like, the skit really wasn't that great because I was having a hard time doing it. Like, I felt like I was trying to force the, you know, the goofiness at that point because I had a lot of sadness inside, and I actually started breaking down crying, which imagining in my head I was like laughing. And now that I'm to it, having a hard time.
Yeah. See?
Well, my brain is kind of distracted.
I know.
I feel like I'm kind of forcing it. Yeah. The crying didn't last that long because in my crying, like, our oldest, she was recording, she stopped recording, she came and she hugged me, and then I started laughing because I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so ridiculous crying with this ridiculous outfit that I'm wearing. So I was thankful for that. See, always something good. I was thankful that in the moment that I broke down and cried, I was wearing something so stupid and it turned into something that was kind of funny. We got to laugh about it. But anyway, so for those next couple weeks where I was asking for prayer and where I was just kind of talking about emotions being all over the place, every single day there was a new update every day. I can't remember all of the updates, and like I said, I'm not, I didn't write anything out for this, so I didn't go back through my text messages and stuff to like give you guys, you know, super detail. So every day there was some kind of update, like it was day whatever, day 10, day 14, okay, any day now, and I'm like doing all this research on people who stop eating and drinking and thinking people can only last, you know, it's like 21 days is the max and then you're for sure gonna die. And we found out from her hospice nurse that she had some time because she has some extra weight, so her body had some stuff to live off of for longer than just the 21 days. But at first we did not know that, so every day was wondering, you know, is she gonna be here? Like, am I gonna wake up to a call in the middle of the night that she's gone? Am I gonna wake up to a call in the morning sometime today? So there was that, the emotion from that, just constantly just wondering, you know, always wondering, is she gonna be here tomorrow? Is she gonna be here tomorrow? Like, is this gonna happen? When is it gonna happen? And then trying to prepare for that as well as you can prepare for something that you've never experienced. There was a lot of sadness, like obviously being sad that you're gonna lose your mom because it's your mom, you know, the person who carried you before you were born and then fed you after you were born and bathed you and just took care of you, and when you were sick took care of you, and when you got hurt made it better and all that. Like, such an important person, and thinking, oh my gosh, like, she's gonna be gone. It was just really hard trying to grasp that, and then the way that it was happening. You know, it wasn't just this, you know, she had another stroke and she's gone, or there was an accident and you know, this person is gone now. It was like a planned thing, and we were just waiting every day, wondering, is this the day? Is this the day? And then also more like all the different emotions. So very sad, difficulty, like just whatever emotion it would be to try to process that everything. And then also having peace inside and joy, you know, knowing that she's not going to be suffering in that body for very much longer, so that's great for her. And then like some confusion, and then each time that there was an update, it just added to the emotions because they were really hard. I wanted the updates, I wanted to know what was going on, but each update was just really hard. Like, at first I was able to at least text her. That was good because I had that. I felt like we were losing mommy in phases. Like, the first phase, you know, we mourned the loss of mommy as we knew her when she had those strokes, that, you know, she wouldn't be up walking around with us anymore and having these super long conversations on the phone that we used to have all the time. And just that, you know, mommy before her strokes, we mourned that, and that was something to let go. But we had, but at least for me, I won't speak for my sisters, but for me, it was like, now I have to prepare to lose the at least parts. Like, at least I can do video calls, at least I can text. So I was trying to also had those emotions of having to let go of the at least parts, and then there would just be nothing. So we were able to text at first, and I was always asking tons of questions just because I don't know any of this stuff, and I like to know. I want to understand things, so I ask questions so that I can learn things and understand things. So I just wondered, like, do you still have peace? You know, when she was talking about how it was so uncomfortable, she was in a lot of pain, she's really thirsty, she can't take her dry mouth. I'm like, do you still want to do this? You know, or do you still have peace about going? And she's like, yes, like even more so. She just still wanted to do it so badly. And then that was really sad to process. Like, my gosh, what must your perspective about your life be if you are so uncomfortable and in pain, but still you want to continue on with the discomfort and the pain because you're like that desperate to not be living anymore. It's just sad. And then really, really hard thinking about, like, it's already hard. It has already been hard thinking about her laying in a facility or just laying in a bed, you know, not living the life that she used to have. That has always been so sad to think about. And then it was a totally different level of thinking about her laying in a bed, because it was like she's laying there dying. Like, she's just laying there slowly dying. I mean, it's just hard to process, I guess. For me, it was hard to process. It was hard to think about, but then I couldn't not think about it. You know, it was just constantly going, and every day there were updates. So we at least have the texting, but then it got to a point where it was like, okay, you're texting too much and you're asking too many questions. It's like she's starting to get confused about a lot of things, so just stop. And then it was like she's to the point where she's so weak now that she really can't text anymore. So then there was just nothing, you know. The only stuff that I knew was updates that I got from my sister, and those were also really hard. Like, okay, she sleeps all the time now, or she she didn't eventually get hospice care, and she was set up with, just to make her more comfortable, she was given pain medication and something for anxiety. Well, at that point, between no eating and drinking and then taking those medications, she just was sleeping all the time. And then it was like, is she sleeping a lot because it's her last days, or is she sleeping a lot because of the medication, or is it both? You know, just so many things all the time. And then there was a day where she was talking, she just seemed so alert, and I was like, okay, I know, like, the whole not eating and drinking process, I'm super unfamiliar with that, but other stuff I'm not unfamiliar with because I've worked in the medical field for years. So when she got that burst of energy, I was like, okay, so I think that this is a sign that she'll be gone sometime within the next few days, because a lot of times when someone's dying, they will have a day where they just seem like, oh my gosh, you know, the outside people look at it like, oh, they're better now. And they're not. It's just like this. It's almost like just a last burst before they're gone. So then I was like, okay, really trying to prepare. She's going to be gone soon. And then there were a lot of ups and downs. Like, so then thrown into the big bowl of emotions, frustration was thrown in there, because there were days where she was like, this is too hard, I couldn't take it anymore, so I drank something. Or, you know, the nurses didn't do something for me that I wanted them to do, so I drank something. I'm just gonna drink stuff because you're not giving me what I want. So then it was like, okay, she's drinking stuff, so now we're like, what does this mean? Like, she would just occasionally drink things. Then we're trying to process that. Like, so she's still doing this. She's still trying to end her life, but now she's doing it in a way where it's just going to make it take longer. Like, so we're all just kind of like being strung along. So then there was a lot of back and forth with that, thinking about her. Like, yeah, this must be really hard. I can't imagine what it's like for her. She's on an emotional roller coaster too. But then also thinking about us, like, is she not thinking that we are part of this too? What she's doing is affecting us too, and it's just, we're just being dragged along for this ride while she's saying, I'm going to be gone sometime within the next few days, but then she's taking, you know, she's drinking stuff, or she'll have some broth or whatever, but not enough to keep her alive, but enough to make this dying process longer. It was just hard to do. Like, this is going to just keep going on, and now it's like, now we have to wonder if she's going to be gone, you know, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe like next month. It'll just, you know, be something that's dragged out longer. And then it was back to, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm 100% done. I'm not going to eat or drink anything. So then it was back to, okay, so then sometime in the more near future, she's going to be gone. And then having to process all that stuff again. And then there was a time where she said, well, no, I changed my mind. I'm going to stick around a little bit. And no, she had like an Ensure shake, and she was drinking stuff. And then that caused a lot of pain, I'm assuming, because she gave her body something, you know, it hasn't been doing anything. All these organs are starting to shut down, and then all of a sudden they got to try to rev back up. And then she said, nope, after this pain, I know for sure I don't want to do this. And then it was back to no eating and drinking. It was just a lot of up and down, a lot of back and forth. And then
no ending, no ending, no ending.
And after all of that, it eventually got to a point where her mental decline just was like really rapid. One of her nurses said that she's pretty sure that mommy has been having mini strokes, and probably in the front of her brain where, you know, your thinking, how you think, decision making, all that kind of stuff is, which would make sense because she was starting to get way confused about simple things. Like the way that she talked made no sense a lot of the time. She didn't remember anything. Like somebody would go visit her and then leave, and then she'd be like, I wish you would come and see me today. Like, I was just there an hour ago, you know, and she has no clue. Like, my sister would start showing up for visits, and my mom, she would have, like, red stuff on her face and on her hand, and her, like, my sister and the nurse would be like, what did you eat? And she's like, I'm not eating or drinking. I didn't eat anything. And then she would, like, be mad at the people asking her, because I think in her mind it was like, they think I'm lying. I'm not lying. I'm not eating or drinking anything. And they're like, you clearly had something because you have red stuff on your face and on your right hand, which is the one, you know, that she can get something to her mouth. And then I think if the nurse was right, which it would make sense based on the way that my mom was, you know, in the last few weeks of that, no eating and drinking and whatever, it would make sense that she was having mini strokes. But also no eating, no drinking, so dehydrated, malnourished, and then also she stopped taking her blood thinners, so that would make sense if she started having strokes again. So the whole no eating and drinking thing kind of stopped involuntarily because her mind got so bad that she didn't even remember that she wanted to do it. And then she would eat something, and then when she was told that she ate something, she would be so upset because she's like, I just set myself back. And she eats, and she's like texting my sister, you know, an hour or two later, like, nobody brought me breakfast and no lunch either. So my sister's calling up to the facility, like, trying to find out what's going on. And they're like, no, she ate. And there are times where she's said that to my sister, like, they're not feeding me, they're not bringing me food. And then my sister will be like, I was there this morning and you were eating while I was there. And she's like, what did I have? You know, she has no clue. So now her mental state is so bad that she couldn't even do this, I think, if she wanted to. So that's pretty much what happened. That is why I was asking for prayer for my mom, because we really were trying to prepare for her to be gone, and it was just very sad watching the whole process, and there were a lot of ups and downs and all over the place. So that's what was happening for that. And now she's just trying to hang in there, which is what she said, that it's still hard and her emotions are all over the place, which I'll talk about that in another video because I don't want this to be ridiculously long. Seriously, this video could probably be an hour long if I just talked about all of it at once. So the reason I wanted to share this stuff, besides that I told you guys that I would, I feel like this, or I know that this really ties into what this channel is about with a healthy lifestyle, because healthy lifestyle is our mental health and emotional, physical, and spiritual, all of those things, taking care of all of that, you know, the health of those things. And a lot of where my mom is because of mental health struggles and not addressing any of that stuff. So, and I've talked to her about this, and she seemed excited about me kind of having this little series, you know, to kind of telling her story, to use it as encouragement for mental health, because it's important and it's just so true. And we don't take care of that, when we don't handle those things or address certain things, it does affect our physical health and our emotional and our spiritual health, our relationship with God, like all these different things. So for the next, I don't know, 1 or 2 videos, I'm going to kind of talk about certain things lead up to that, like just kind of use my mom's life as the basis for the whole message, because she has had a pretty tough life, and a lot of people have, but I feel like that's the reason why I want to share her story because I think it could be super relatable. You know, sexual abuse, abortion, losing people. I mean, so many different things, which I will go into detail with that stuff. So I don't want to tell her story and then talk about where all of that stuff, what it all led to. Just hope that it's encouraging for you guys. And then I'll get back to like my regular videos. But I did want to do this. I felt like it was kind of important and that it could be encouraging to somebody. So that's why I'm doing it. So that is it for today. I've talked for almost 30 minutes. I hope I can cut this down pretty short, or at least shorter. But that's all. And then you guys already saw the workouts so far for the July 1776 Freedom Challenge. And I will now show you the Bible verses that I read so far this week. And then I guess that's it. And if you guys are doing the challenge, then let me know in the comments how you guys are doing. That would be awesome. So, okay. I'm gonna stop talking now because between mowing and all this talking, I feel weird. Thank you guys for being here. I love you guys. God bless. And I hope to have you back for the next one.